Oh, that one puzzle that I was describing is similar to this, but more complicated. Three logicians walk into a bar. The bartender asks, "Do you all want a drink?" The first logician says, "I don't know." The second logician says, "I don't know." And the third logician says, "Yes." The reason being, if either of them said no, then they would be able to answer definitively. If the first one says yes, he doesn't know how the next two will answer. If the second says yes, he doesn't know how the third will answer. And then if the third is going to say yes, then he knows the answer is yes for all three or whatever, right? Yeah. Jesus. Legal mindset leaks tech tone.
Because I'm not a scumbag piece of shit that's going to go through something that will dox her like that. I will, not have that happen. So he should be banned from YouTube. Report fake lawyer now. I mean, that's crazy that he's just doxing two people that went through a insult.
So this relates to legal mindset, okay? So legal mindset went live with the uncensored documents and was just putting her full name and I believe address out there.
Man, I don't want to be involved in this shit. Don't do that. Not cool, guys. I don't know. Okay. Oh, nice. They're on. Big thanks to everyone at Mythic Talent, also to Tectone for the seal of approval. Happy to be working with a great team and no objections to creating great content in the future. Are the documents even sealed? No, I don't think so. The one thing I don't like, man, dude, when my I don't care, dude, when my manifesto comes out, oh my god, there's just so much, like, I don't like all this weird behind the scenes finagling that people fucking lie and hide about. It drives me crazy. Legal Mindset does this a lot, where people give him information privately behind the scenes, and knowing where that information comes from might change your interpretation of events. So the fact that, like, Gisticle was manipulating a person, who was so suicidal that he had to have her locked up and then was promising to be her Dr. K to have her on stream making accusations about me, I'm talking about Sherry, right? The fact that Gisticle was engaged in that, whether or not the things he's saying about me are true or untrue, I think that the public or people listening to that might consider it a bit differently, knowing the relationship to the sources of information. I don't like it when there is so much, like, weirdo stuff going on in the background where people are, like, whispering each other and handing off information to each other, and then the people are presenting it like they got it completely anonymously, or they just stumbled upon this thing. I really, really, really don't like that thing. But now I feel like but then the thing that sucks is that if I'm open with everything and nobody else is open with anything, then it just seems like my side is being weird. Miskiv messaged me to cover these docs or whatever, and I was going over some of it on stream. And then after that stream, the person, Pinky, reached out to me, and they said that they weren't aware. They don't know how all of those documents were made public. And after they told me that, they said that they didn't want all of their information, like, plastered all over the internet. I told Miskiff that I wasn't comfortable going over anything on a stream unless it was, like, censored, basically. I was like, I don't think this person wants their docs info out. Can you, like, censor these documents? Now, maybe he was going to censor them anyway. I don't know. Now, apparently he did here, which is good. After I said that to him, he said they were censored after that. So yeah, I don't want to, if this person's trying, I don't know how, I just don't know anything about, like, the state court filings or how stuff is coming out or how stuff is being released. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people are like, Jessica is doing exactly this by sending stuff to Mizkif for him to go over now. Yeah, it's just, I don't care if people do that, but I think people should be open about where they're being fed information from, It just feels a little weird. In my opinion. Fucking annoying here. It's annoying. Fucking annoying here. Oh, fucking annoying here. What is like? This is what I don't like.
Uh-huh.
Why does Miskiff need you to cover it? Well, initially I think I offered on stream, and then I think I even DM'd him. Because I can interpret court documents, because a lot of people don't know what any of the language means or can't just read them and understand what's going on. But I don't want to be, like, covering stuff that, if it's, like, making people uncomfortable, maybe, I don't know. I just don't have a strong enough position on it to hate one side to know if I would care to cover it or not. Like, I don't have strong enough feelings, if that makes sense. Like, if I thought that she was completely and totally in the fucking wrong based on my take on everything, then I would say, well, these are public filings, fuck you. but I don't know the nature of their court case or anything as well, so it's hard to say.
Why? What are you, like, retarded?
This is us, the commentators.
Yeah.
Okay, Asmongold, Hassan, Destiny, whatever.
Right.
And then this here is like politics.
Politics, yes. I see that.
And it's like, this is like, it's a fake world. Nothing is real. We can say whatever, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as Destiny's like, you know, somebody could fuck this guy up for saying this shit. Or, now these guys lose their fucking mind over it.
Yeah. You can do politics without advocating for being violent against people that have opinions. Yeah, obvious.
What do you say? These people need to be tried and executed. Like, again, this is going into the politics world. He's saying, well, no, I'm just saying that in the court of law, they should be tried and then executed and hanged. I'm not saying anything violent. It's like, okay.
Like, is...
Destiny, would it be feasible to just keep in touch with the victim to see what they think is okay to cover? Well, kind of, but that's also biased too, because maybe she's full of shit and she's lying about everything, and maybe Tectone is more innocent than the court docs imply. I don't know. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that if I'm getting sources from just one side of the information, then I mean, obviously that source, regardless of if she's right or wrong, it's going to be somewhat tainted. That didn't happen. I'm sorry, my audio just glitched. I mean, it's the same thing how I tell people, like, I mean, I understand why people don't want to believe me, but my court case, that's fine. That's why I'm waiting for my dismissal. Because everybody's going to represent their side, obviously as being the correct side. Although I would argue you could read my filings. But
what are you talking about? Are you retarded?
Is he LARPing that he only wants violence for people in charge? No, again, I'm repeating this for like the 5th time. There has never been an illegal takeover of anything in the history of the planet. Nobody has ever done an illegal thing that comes to lead a new government, because they always create some pretextual justification for what they're doing. Even the Civil War, the state's like, oh, we have the legal right to secede. I think that we have a right to do this. This is our state right or whatever. Everybody has a reason to. A dictator is saying, well, they broke the law. We have the right to do this. When Saddam Hussein was killing everybody, it's because they were backstabbers and murderers and everything else, or to the party, or they were traitors to the party. There's always a reason. So Asmongold's going to say, well, I'm not being violent when I say, oh, what? You don't trust the courts now, Destiny? You don't trust the courts? I said they should be tried for treason and hanged. You don't trust the courts now, Destiny? You don't trust the courts? Like, the whole in court is the new in Minecraft for them. I think Walz should be fucking murdered in court after he's been tried for treason, where I'm only going to vote for a guy who pushes capital punishment. It's like, okay. I mean, based, I guess. Like, epic, dude. Okay.
So, by the way, this is more of what I've said. Every one of Destiny's stupid arguments like this is hinged off of some brain-dead Reddit false equivalency. Oh, well, because you said this, now it's okay for me to say this. No, it's not. What are you, fucking retarded? It's so stupid.
Like, this is not a fake world. This is not, like, just pretend. I don't like how streamers engage with politics like it's just a pretend world.
What do you mean it's a pretend world? So because it's not a pretend world, you can advocate for people to get killed?
No! That's the point, you fucking retard, but you're the one who's doing it! You celebrate when people get killed. Your chat is laughing when people are getting shot. You're talking about people need to be tried and hanged for execution. You think it's Raffle Mayo when fucking Trump is supporting people getting... That's the point! How is he going the exact opposite way with this?
What is wrong with you?
Oh my god, true! I have a feeling that if I were to say, I think somebody should, like, execute Asmongold, I think he would lose his shit. I think he would get mad at...
No way! No way. This is, oh my god. This guy is so Reddit-brained, it's actually embarrassing. It is genuinely embarrassing. He thinks that there's some kind of inconsistency that, wow, you know, Asmongold, what is this here? Protect the streamer says when Tim Walz stands up against authoritarianism. Is this, I don't even know, I'm assuming he's talking about me saying that Tim Walz should get tried for treason. That's what I'm assuming, right? This is insane. You're
tried for treason by somebody who's pushing, in the most brutal manner possible, capital punishment. Those are more or less your words. The brutal as possible and capital punishment. You want him to die. You're not looking for justice or for a fair court case. You're talking about voting for somebody that will murder somebody, for kill somebody, right? That, Jesus.
Talking about advocating for killing somebody? Oh my God.
Here it comes.
This is like
Where
saying
is it?
that because you advocate for self-defense, that means it's okay for me to shoot you. Just because it's the same base action doesn't mean that it's the same thing. This is like, here, let me remove all context, all nuance, and all logic out of this, and then instead of that, bake this false equivalency that justifies me advocating for vigilante violence. This is retarded.
Vigilante, because it's not by court. Okay. But like when he's saying shit like this, it's totally okay?
Absolutely it is.
Okay.
If JD Vance does not push for treason with capital punishment against Tim Walz, do not vote for him.
You want Walz to be killed. That's what you're saying there. Treason with capital punishment. It wasn't even enough to just say what you should try him for. It's he needs to try him for this crime, and then he needs to be executed afterwards. He needs to push for execution. That's unhinged. Even people that were talking about Chauvin, I don't know if they were saying shit like that. He needs to be death penalty. He needs to be. It was more like he needs to be charged with murder. He needs to be convicted of murder. He murdered George Floyd, but he needs to be tried and murdered. He needs capital punishment to kill him. I don't even know if Georgia has fucking or Minnesota or whatever has capital punishment. I don't know. I don't know about Minnesota's.
If Trump does not deliver that, do not vote for him the third time.
Like you're saying that this guy should be killed. Now you can.
No, I'm saying you should be on trial for it.
And herein lies the problem. I'm so much more sympathetic to like violent left-wing protests now. Herein lies the problem with those that wield the keys to power is they can always hide behind this pretextual bullshit world of, I'm just talking about what the legal system should do. Oh, the legal system, the one that the president of the United States is blatantly rejecting, the one that the one where the president of the United States is fabricating indictments against political opponents, where Stephen Miller, who is sitting on the president's shoulder, whispering into his ear, has constantly called every single person on the left an insurrectionist and treasonous. You want those people to charge his political opponents with treason and then execute them? Oh, that makes it so much better. That makes it so much better. Thank you.
That's the difference, is that whenever you're advocating for vigilante justice and vigilante violence, there is no trial, there is no accountability.
See, you don't need vigilante anything when you control the keys to the government. I don't need vigilante justice. I've got Donald Trump giving personal orders to the attorney general who has fake prosecutors like Lindsey Halligan to do this for me. See, it's not vigilante. What Trump is doing is de facto vigilantism, by the way. He's firing prosecutors and putting in the ones that will bring the bullshit indictments that aren't even surviving grand juries half the fucking time to bring politically charged indictments against political opponents for political reasons just to try to fuck with them. Like, how? Like, it's not vigilantism de jure because he's the president, but de facto, this is vigilantism run amok in the DOJ.
There are no protective measures, and it is completely up to whatever crazy person out there to act on whatever impulse they have and do it. Whenever I advocate for that, this is the issue, right? Is that this is like saying, well, how can you be against violence if you think the police should apprehend criminals? Yes, obviously, there should be some degree of accountability to somebody that's doing something illegal or breaking the law or siding with a foreign country. This is like Luigi. Yeah, exactly. Like, Luigi is totally fucking different than the state executing somebody for doing something wrong. Like, this... Luigi is not that much different from the Trump administration, though. The Trump administration has shown time and time again that they have a blatant disregard for rule of law. How many times do they call them activist judges? Thousands of decisions passed down by activist, left-wing liberal judges that shouldn't be judges. They've attacked every time they can every part of the institution from top to bottom that comes with criminal proceedings. They've got fake bullshit agents out here, these ICE dudes. They've got fake bullshit prosecutors because they fired most of the good ones. And then they've got judges when they give decisions that they don't trust. They say, we don't trust these judges. They're activist losers, right? These are the people that I'm supposed to trust, you wanting to try people for treason and execute them? You're fucking insane. It is unbelievable how every single one of Destiny's arguments to justify his unhinged, stupid fucking rhetoric about, oh, wow. Remember, like, whenever he said that the kids in
the problem is Asmongold is using the Reddit arguments, and he doesn't realize it because he's smart, but he thinks he knows more than he does because he's too lazy to do any reading or research. So he just relies on his little brain to carry him through these arguments. Because there's a world where if you don't know anything, what Asmongold is saying sounds true. Yeah, there's a huge difference between killing somebody in a court of law versus just vigilante justice, right? Well, if you don't know how courts work and you don't know how the Trump administration is using the courts, then yeah, there is a big difference. But if you understand what is happening legally right now and why the DOJ as an institution has been hollowed out, then yeah, that hits hard if you're retarded.
In the Texas flood, he was saying, like, I don't know if he said they deserved it, or he was making jokes about it, and then he was saying bad stuff about the guy that got killed at the the Trump rally. This is just a very, very common parallel that Destiny does, is that he listens to the dumbest person on the internet, and he says, wait a minute, I can do you one better. That's what he does every single fucking time. This is so retarded, and again, this is a Reddit tier false equivalency, so he can justify advocating for violence and being an idiot. That's it. This is like saying, again, because you support self-defense, that means I should be able to shoot you. No, absolutely not. Just because you say, okay, in some circumstances, this would be acceptable, that doesn't mean that automatically, in every circumstance, it's always acceptable. It's the same thing like, oh, I advocate for taxes. Okay, well, because I think taxation is theft, then I can steal your stuff because you're advocating for stealing through taxes. Can you, it's so stupid. I can't believe he's even saying this. Oh my God. This does annoy me. It does.
Try to lie and say, well, no,
it's pathetic.
I mean, like for the process or whatever. The president doesn't charge crimes.
Yeah.
Now you can say, well, no, I just mean I want the president to choose an attorney general who. The president doesn't tell the attorney general who to prosecute. Well, no.
Why are you intentionally obfuscating? It's obvious that I'm saying that there should be a process to determine whether this person, like basically this is my argument. I think that if Tim Walz knew that he was funneling money to Somalia, then that money was being sent to a terrorist organization. Tim Walz was effectively funding a terrorist organization. And read some of the comments that are wild. Oh, I'll get to that. It's directed attacks towards Asmongold, of course, right?
You could say something like, I want an investigation or something, sure, but that's not what you said. You said you wanted to vote for a new president who pushes to have him tried for treason and executed. That's what you said. Like the whether or not he's guilty of this thing is a foregone conclusion in your mind. You're just looking for the executioner. That was your statement. Not if it was just like, I think Walz should be investigated for this stuff. I think he should be investigated. I think this is treason. He should be investigated for this stuff. Well, fine. It's retarded, but fine. You can have that opinion. But that's way different than I'm only going to vote for the guy that tries him for treason and pushes for hanging.
Yeah, I think that's basically treason. Is that not treason? I mean, I think that's just categorically treason. It is.
It's he doesn't even know the definition for what treason is. Was Iran-Contra treason?
Then obviously he shouldn't have that happen. Duh, of course. But it should be investigated. Why is this such a problem? I would say the same thing about Trump. I would say the same thing about anybody else. Advocating for a political process that has extreme consequences is very different than advocating for vigilante justice.
A political process. I'm sorry, was it a political process or was it a prosecutorial process? Was this court or was this politics? Which is it? It's all the same to you because you're a Redditor. You're retarded. You don't know anything about any of these systems. To you, it's all the same shit, which I understand if you're retarded.
And vigilante political violence. This is crazy.
I would just want a president.
Destiny is pretending to not understand lawful enforcement of the government because he doesn't agree with it? Yeah, exactly. Pretending to not understand.
True.
Man, many such cases, huh?
They would have the what does Asmongold say when the law doesn't agree with him? What's this?
Ignore him. Like this entire idea that we have to ignore him. Like this entire idea that we have to, like we have a very clear problem with the legal system. When one or two judges can effectively bring the entire judicial and executive branch to a grinding halt just by saying something is illegal, and then also a lot of these things get overturned. It's not like, you know, they're right about it in a lot of these cases. Now, sometimes they are, but usually I think they're not. And
usually
you know, they've had these things go to the Supreme
Usually the judges are wrong. Okay.
Court. It's been denied. Arrest the judge anyway. Yeah, I think that we really need to have a conversation about how judicial systems affect like a national law, because I feel like I remember reading how judicial systems affect like a national law, because I feel like I remember reading this that a handful of the judges that are these like activist judges are responsible for like 95% or 80%. I don't know if it's that high, but like 80% of the actual blocks on like different things that Trump tried to do. So
why do you think that is? Do you think that maybe there are certain jurisdictions that are more likely to hear certain cases, that there might be certain venues where the courts are just specialized in a certain type of law that are used to practicing these types of cases? Or do you think that all the judges across the entirety of the United States are just trying to funnel these cases to the most activist judges they can?
So, like, if you have that many people that are doing that, then I feel like really there seems to be very clearly an agenda here, right?
Because they disagree with me.
Like, this entire idea that we have to...
yeah, it's whatever. But no, dude, definitely not vigilantism there. Disposition that would choose an attorney general that would also go after this guy for treason, for but get the fuck out of here, you loser fuck.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. I mean, like his own, and here we go. Let's talk about the actual thing that I said. Tim Walz, I think, did know that the money was being funneled back to Somalia. I think that he did know. And I think that people, the multiple whistleblowers, even inside of his own party that said that, I think that him, as soon as the video went public, and like the Nick Shirley video, him immediately dropping out of the governor's race, I think was very, very condemning. And I think also the fact that all the other people around him had been convicted of fraud for like the Feeding Our Future stuff, I think that there's a very, very high probability.
All the people around him? Were these Walz's personal friends and his government figures? All of them? How many? What was even the relationship?
That Tim Walz knew this was happening and he facilitated it happening. I think
that's a huge claim, by the way. That would be one of the biggest scandals in all of U.S. history that you have no evidence for. But okay,
I think it's very possible, and I think that there are enough pieces of independent evidence there that an investigation should be done. I don't see why this is such a confusing and problematic.
Then say that. Just say there should be an investigation done. That's fine. If you want to investigate, go for it.
Thing to say. I really don't.
I like how that's what he backed his whole statement up to. First statement, I will only support the guy who promises to try him for treason and pushes for capital punishment. To the statement now of, well, I think it should be investigated.
It makes perfect sense to me. Unless the most extreme, dramatic, brutal, aggressive option is on the table, I'm staying home. Yep, I'm staying home, bro. I think this is a huge problem, that politicians are able to get away with stuff and people are able to get away with things. Like, in my opinion, whenever you defraud and you hurt millions of people, I think that your head should be on the chopping block. I do think so. But the difference between me and Destiny is I don't think that should be decided by some random retard on Twitter who decided to pick up a gun and go take things into their own hands.
But it should be decided by who? Because you don't trust the judges. So who?
I think this should be decided in a court of law, just like every single other legal...
Oh, despite the fact that you've said over and over again that they're activist judges, that you don't trust them, that they're all just trying to block the Trump admin from doing what they want to do. Okay.
Outcome is decided in a court of law. If you're scamming Medicare fraud and you're stealing billions of dollars, yeah, I think your head should maybe be on the chopping block. I absolutely think so. If you're a politician and you're taking bribes from foreign countries, yep, heads on the chopping block, absolutely. And I think that we have so much bad behavior, just completely random and just flagrant law-breaking behavior from politicians who are literal fucking traitors to our country. And we are pacified by our basic, pretty much our success. Like, the country has been so successful and we've made so much money that nobody even considers this. If there's no accountability, it's going to keep happening. Absolutely. It'll never happen? That's fine. Then I guess he's not gonna win. He's not gonna get my vote. Yeah, I'll tell you that. Explain how I'm wrong. Yeah, you're not gonna get my vote. It's not happening. Yeah, I sleep.
But like, that's just politics. That's just a meme. So that doesn't matter. Meanwhile, me advocating for somebody to pin their location and don't let them join liberal protests.
Guys, well, you're okay with self-defense. That means I can shoot you. Wait a minute. So you think somebody should go through a legal process? Oh, well, I disagree with you. So that means I can do the same thing without the legal process. Because those are the same things.
Okay. What is this?
They did it with Trump too? Did they do it with Trump? I don't remember them doing it with Trump at all. People are sharing a completely fake AI-generated photo of the... Oh, yeah, obviously that's fucking fake. That's not even Alex Pretti. So people are spamming this everywhere. No way an AI-generated version of a guy is on Times Square billboard.
Wait, is he even talking about the right one? Is this AI generated or is this just a picture? I thought the claim here was that they darkened or lightened his skin to make him Jewish or something. This isn't...
My God.
Or make him not Jewish? I don't know.
Wow.
It's touched up.
Man. That is insane. PSYOP, we're doomed? Yes, I know. Is this fake? It looks fake. The image is also fake? Okay, wait a second. All right, let's go ahead and find it. We're gonna see if we can look it up on here. Video falsely. Okay, so it's not real. So this is even better. So let me get this straight.
Why not read? Why not like read an article? Did he really just go by the headline of the first result?
See if we can look it up on here.
Video falsely places tribute to Minneapolis shooting victim in Times Square. Video falsely places tribute. Wait, hold on. Is that saying the exact opposite of what he thinks? Because this headline reads to me like it's saying that that billboard is fake, and there's just a video that faked it. But I don't know. Let me check. Hold on. I might not be interpreting it. This was on Yahoo News. Tributes and rallies abounded in remembrance of Alex Pretti, the 37-year-old intensive care nurse who was shot and killed by federal immigration agents in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but social media posts claiming his picture was projected onto a large billboard in Times Square are false. An AFP journalist visited the New York City location and confirmed there was no such homage. Breaking. Alex Pretti, honored in Times Square, reads the caption of a January 26, 2026 X post sharing the clip. Wait, so is this not even in Times Square? The video appears to show Times Square with a massive image of Pretti imposed over one of the buildings. Well, actually, we would know this immediately because there'd be tons of people with pictures. Right? I mean, I imagine somebody would have taken it. It's Times Square. There's fucking tens of thousands of people that walk through here.
Man, that is insane. PSYOP, we're doomed? Yes, I know. Is this fake? It looks fake. The image is also fake. Okay, wait a second. All right, let's go ahead and find it. We're gonna see if we can look it up on here. Video falsely. Okay, so it's not real. So this is even better. So let me get this straight. So this guy's using a fake AI image of a fake billboard to push a fake narrative. Everything's fucking fake.
Oh, never mind. He does understand it. Never mind, I got it. Okay, hold on. I thought when he was saying it's fake, he was referring to we're like 3 levels of meta fake right now. He does understand that. Okay.
Every video is fake. Everybody's lying. This is insane. Oh my fucking God.
I think.
Pure slop. I know. This is crazy. What the fuck is going on? we live in a simulation. Yes, AI at this point is just, in my opinion, like I can't immediately tell this is AI. I mean, I don't know, like the whole quality for it is bad. I could see that maybe, right? Yeah, sure, I can see it now that I'm looking at it. But if I'm just looking at it for like 2 or 3 seconds, I'm gonna assume that it's real. I will. And there's some of these I can tell. I mean, there's a lot of them that I don't think you can. There aren't. So they edited a version of this guy's face, and then they also even used this too. Oh my God. Well, I guess that's what's happening now, guys. And there's no Minnesota. They fixed his nose only. Well, I think they also changed.
He changed his statement. He still retarded. He thought the billboard was fake, but the picture was fake. Wait. No. I think he's saying he understands the whole picture is fake. Like the whole thing is fake. Not just the picture on the billboard, but that whole thing is fake. I think he understands that. That's what I'm getting from him, I think. Yeah.
Changed his chin, right? Now, in my opinion, should the media be able to do this to show somebody what to show what somebody looks like? No, I don't think that they should. I think this is ridiculous. Anybody who's advocating for this or thinks this is good is a fucking moron. It's just crazy that somebody would be okay with this. It really is. But yeah, that's it. They made him black.
Is this real? Is the picture face tuned at all? One of the things that I fucking hate about AI is like now AI becomes a stand-in for a bunch of other stuff that was kind of normal before. Like people will, there was an app on your phone, I don't know if it's iPhone on there, called Facetune, where people are like tweaking and changing stuff. And you used to say Photoshop, but now when you say AI, it's like super malicious. And it's like, well, I mean, like people like touching up somebody's hair or something, but I don't even know if, I don't know if this is the same picture or not. Maybe it was 2 separate pictures. And I don't know who did the editing. I have no idea. I don't know.
Black? I mean, I don't know if they made him black, right? And it's just nuts. They'll do it to you too. Oh, of course, right? They changed his entire skull. Yeah, they literally changed this guy's entire skull to make him more visually appealing, so people would go and be.
Fuck me, I hate him. Because like, I'm making a guess here, bros. I really don't know. But like, generally, if you go to do headshots, you'll have like multiple pictures taken. Like, is it possible that these are just 2 different pictures from the same shoot? Because so like here, it almost looks like his head is like tilted up a bit more. And I'm only saying this because so his chin gets shorter and his nose gets shorter, but also like look at the balding on his head. I feel like his head is tilted a bit up more too, where the head, like the hair is like more straight on, whereas here it seems like his head's tilted down a little bit. But maybe I'm hallucinating things. I'm not sure. His right eye looks different too. Sure, maybe, yeah. And the glasses are like the glasses are at a different angle. Like here, we can just go by his eyes, I guess. If I'm connecting the center of his eyes to each other, like this is the angle. Is it the same over here? Not really. Like his head looks more even here. Like this just looks like a second picture. But I could be wrong. I don't know. His nose has been straightened. Was his whole head moved? Give me the before and after. Look at the distortion of the borders of the glasses. They are different pics. Maybe. They look like different. My guess would be because of the angle of the head, they look like slightly different pictures. But I could be wrong. Or no, not slightly, just different pictures. But maybe you can do all of this touch up in Photoshop or editing. The hair is too similar. When I say different pictures, I don't mean like from a totally different photo shoot. I mean like when you do headshots, you might do like you might get like 10 or 20 different pictures from the same, like the guy's like taking pictures and you're like moving a little or posing or doing a different thing or whatever. And then the photographer will, I think they usually color grade them or touch them up or whatever, and then they'll send them to you and see what you want depending on what you're asking for. But I'm curious if who accused this of being like photoshopped or AI generated? Like what's the before and after here? Like where are we getting this before and after? Question, why would there be 2 seemingly identical photos? You don't think an AI face tune would slightly morph things around, whether by accident or by the nature of tuning an image? I don't know what the AI tunes typically do. Like would an AI tune try to shorten your chin? Like I don't know if that would, but I also don't edit my pictures. I don't know if anybody would want to do that because you'd end up looking so different. It might like fundamentally change the way you look in a way that would be like jarring. So I don't know if people would want that type of software. Usually you would just find like better poses or better angles or whatever. Whereas like, again, it's common to take, you might take 10, 20 pictures or whatever at a similar angle. And then the photographer might send you all of them and ask which ones you want touched up or which ones you want Because if they're shooting, I don't know if you shoot photos in RAW format. I think that might just be video, but you might shoot in a format that requires like, or at least every photographer I've worked with will touch up photos or whatever. Why concentrate on something so silly? Well, people are saying it was edited to make him look less Jewish. Unless it's like a different face with lens zoom, I would assume the second pick is heavily edited. No. I'm just saying tilting your head could make things look different. I don't know if I have the facial features for it to look dramatically different. Also, my lens is a much shorter focal length camera, but like the difference between like a like if my chin, fucking official. Hold on. What? Like if I'm, hold on, fuck. You would have to do two. You have to like screenshot like this versus like this. But I don't know how big my nose is. Like if I'm looking at this here, like my nose is like above my facial hair. If I tilt a little bit, now it's like dipping into my facial hair. If I had a really long nose, if this was longer, more Jew-coded, then this would be even more dramatic. And this is just like a minor-ish head tilt. March for Our Lives posted this on January 24th, 6:02 p.m. Alex Pretti was an ICU nurse devoted to keeping other people alive. This picture, I think, looks like this picture. That's probably the same picture, maybe? Yeah? Although, keep in mind also, this is like a picture of a picture in a plastic picture frame, too. So it's going to look a little bit weirder. You get a lot of picture elements going on. Why do you think this was a photo shoot? It looks like his work photo. Well, you might bring a photographer in to do photos for some fucking award or staging thing or whatever. I think you typically, or not, maybe not typically. You could also just have a guy at the thing that takes pictures with a fucking phone. I don't know. It depends on the business. The one on Wikipedia here looks like the one on the left. Yeah, my guess would be, my guess is that this is a different picture from the same photo shoot. That's my guess, but I have no way of proving that. I don't know where like this accusation of it being like edited even comes from, so I'm not sure. Which outlets posted the image on the right? I don't know. This is information I'm getting like third hand from chat, so. They kept all the secondaries on a photo shoot. It depends on it depends on what you're. Hold on. Fuck me. I bet I don't have these anymore. Photographs. Jesus, hold on. I'm not even gonna have all the fucking. I don't think I have the original thing that was emailed to me, but like even of the things that I kept. Wait, wrong thing. Hold on. These are so old. I haven't done many photo shoots, but these are edited pictures. So of all the ones that I was sent, like the guy was like, I think in both of these are like, here, just pick like a few dozen and then edit these. So there were more even than this, but like all 4 of these pictures these are 4 different pictures on top. These are 4 different pictures on bottom. Some of these look quite similar, like these 2 are pretty similar. Obviously, it's a similar pose. And these are just ones I kept. So there were maybe 20 or 30 pictures of each in these different angles. So this isn't that strange to me. So like and actually, if you watch the media that I do for when people are promoting my events, sometimes I send them like a slightly different picture. That's where these come from. I'll usually just have like a ton from similar angles or from a similar position. So the idea, like, you think that they would still have a slightly different picture from the same shot? It could be. I don't know. I just don't know how I have no idea what their process was for doing these pictures, or I don't know. Maybe that there might be a situation which is really fucking weird. So like if I was at the casino and they were taking pictures, my guess is it's going to be a fucking dude with a phone. They take a picture, they snap it, and it goes on the wall somewhere, like McDonald's or whatever. If it was for the event that I did with James Fishback, I think I posted photos from that. They had a professional photographer, and I think they sent me 2 or 3 photographs. Fuck, what was the name of that? Why can't I don't know why I can't. Why can't I right click this? Who knows? If you tell AI to upscale a photo, it might just end up mixing your face with someone who looks similar to it. Could, but I don't know why. I feel like using AI to upscale shit would be stupid. Like you can artificially boost resolution and stuff by running algorithms like anti-aliasing shit to smooth edges or whatever. When you start making big guesses on information, I feel like that would be really stupid to do with photographs of other humans, because I think we're quite sensitive to changes in a person's face. I think my head is the same here on both of these. I don't think I'm tilting or anything. Even on the Fishburne thing, like this photographer sent me multiple pictures for this, and this wasn't like a professional shoot or anything. It was just the guy who showed up at the debate to take pictures. But these are 2 different pictures, even though they look similar-ish. He probably shot them like almost one after the other. But these are different pictures. Focal distance does the same thing, right? Yeah, but I don't think they would be changing the focal length of the lens while doing pictures, because he would have to back up and come forward while changing it. I feel like that would not be a thing you would do. But I could be wrong. I'm not a professional photographer. Yeah, but your face shape doesn't morph. Well, the longer the focal length, the more your face will narrow, and then the wider the shorter the focal length, the wider your face will become. That absolutely happens.
I work for the county. If you have a specific person in mind, like I can likely help you get that person out of here. These families they're scared to death, and most of them are just like, what's that?
I'm 95% confident it was edited based on the teeth, but I can't find the source of MSNBC actually using the fake photo. Yeah, that last one, the teeth look very perfect, especially compared to the other one. It wouldn't surprise me the last one was edited. But again, you could take like 15 or 20 pictures and you could do edits on a few that the person wants to like keep, because a photographer will charge you more for editing some pictures. They're not going to edit every single picture. But I don't know the source of any of these pictures. Sorry. If I knew more about like where these were coming from, I might be able to make a better guess on it. But sort of true, sort of not true. Depends on the distance from the subject and how central they are in the lens. Hey, Waterfiend, kill yourself in a video game. What? Where's my... Oh, fuck.
Alex Pretti, an ICU nurse who cared for veterans. Donald Trump and his cabinet, his administration, are demanding once again that you not believe your eyes and ears. This time it
MSNBC decided Alex Pretti is too ugly to be a martyr, so they used AI to fix him. Nice, based. Wait, so why do people care if a picture of him was edited? It's just the MAGA fucking lunacy. Every single thing has to be fake, or there's some conspiracy, or I thought I saw a tweet that said that they were trying to make him look less Jewish, but I don't. Again, I don't know who's Jesus Christ. Also, that guy in chat who I said to kill himself is like technically correct. The focal length doesn't actually change at all a person's face. The only thing that actually matters is how close or far you are to the subject. The closer you are, I think the wider the face. The further back you are, the more narrow the face. The shortcut reason why people will say focal length changes how wide or flat a person's face looks is because typically when the focal length is shorter, you're shooting like a wider image and you have to get closer for them to take up the same amount of space in the frame. So technically, if you stood back here and you had a 70 to 200 millimeter lens and you went in and out and in and out and in and out, it wouldn't actually change the way their face looks at all because you're just zooming or unzooming. What changes is your distance to the subject. But typically, shorter focal length means you're closer, longer focal length means you're further, whatever. Fuck you. I want to be this guy. So like this image is technically true, but if you get like a photography anal guy, they'll fight you on this. Technically, it's not the focal length that's changing the shape of the face here. It's the distance to the subject, because for him to remain the same size in every shot, this 20 millimeter picture is being taken maybe from this length, and the 200 millimeter one, I don't know the math, but you're much, much further back, right? Okay. The video I linked shows you what you're talking about in practice. Would you rather be 20 millimeter or 200 millimeter? I think it's generally said it's like 75 to 100, I think is standard for headshots, is like the optimal fucking aesthetic thing bullshit, maybe? I don't know. Something I don't know. Like I don't know anything about photography. Gamer moment.
Hi, Oxec. How are you?
Hello, fine. What about you?
Very good. It's a new year. Do you have any resolutions?
Always same.
Always the same.
Always same. For 7 years, I think it's same. Everything, all settings, never changing.
And what is it?
It's 1280960.
I didn't. That's so far. That's such a gamer reply. Oh my god! I legit didn't get it.
Wait, I wasn't even listening. What was this? Hold on.
New year. Do you have any resolutions?
Always same.
Always the same.
Always same. For 7 years, I think it's same. Everything, all settings, never changing.
And what is it?
It's 1280960.
I'm retarded. I just don't know. His in-game resolution? Oh, do they still play 4x3 for pros?
I didn't. That's so far. That's such a gamer.
Oh, he's resolution. Oh my god. Okay. They did this in Severance. Thanks. Have you seen the show? Nope.
Beforehand, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Not beast mode. Stop, chat. Hold on. We're getting too edgy. Chill. I disavow.
Based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment. That is what I mean when I say that I'm going to kill Donald Trump.
Asmongold would agree with the capital punishment part. True.
Oh, the Hassan Pikers in the... Bro, I saw this. I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this fucking guy? When we get through this to the other side, remember the people that were fence sitting as well? The Hassan Pikers and the Chapel Roans that both candidates would do this. Remember them? They use their influence poorly and shouldn't be trusted in these conversations. I click on the profile. They're a Taylor Swift stan. Okay? And I find that very strange. Because, like, yeah, these people said that they were pro Kamala Harris, but where the fuck is Taylor Swift on Palestine? Where the fuck is Taylor Swift on ICE? Chaperone hasn't stopped doing advocacy on all of those things. Like, you can't be sitting here talking about fucking multi-billionaire superstar celebrities who have been noticeably absent for the conversation as your fucking neighbors are getting slaughtered while you think personally that, like, the end all be all was to say you have to vote for Kamala, she's the best. This is actually who I was talking about, by the way, when I said, like, these are the dumb fucks who have, like, you know, like, they have, like, a absolute fealty to dear leader. They're like, you have to praise dear leader, right? Like, what do you mean? What do you fucking mean? Well, when we get to the other side, who the fuck are you? When we get to the other side, who the fuck are you to tell me?
Okay, this guy's a loser. I don't care. Hello.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but there's one thing that I was curious if you've, like, thought to confront people on when you're having these debates over these shootings.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe you have, or maybe you haven't, but, like, when they bring up, like, well, what do you expect them to do as they've been harassed and blah, 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 blah. Like, you've heard people say that, and, like, that guy said it yesterday.
That guy said it yesterday, yeah.
You're not confronting that?
Is there a reason why I'm not confronting it? Because there's so many stupid things. But I mean, like, this is part of your job, right? I mean, like, you don't sign up to be a cop to deal with happy people all day, right? Like part of the job is that you're dealing with people who are breaking the law. Just because somebody upsets you doesn't mean that you can murder them. Like if you have the temperament to do that, you probably shouldn't be in that position.
But they're using it more as a like justification of like, well, they've been being confronted by these people over and over and over again, as if that makes it okay in every situation to like treat those people that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they're using it as a way to like say, well, in the totality of the circumstances, you have to think that they've been like their lack of sleep and all that, like that stuff doesn't matter at all. You know, like they're like every single situation has to be taken like that. The totality of the circumstances is the situation that they're in, not like, you know, the guy's mom died 3 weeks ago and he hasn't had any sleep. You know, like that's not like taken into consideration when you're talking about each individual incident.
Sure. Yeah, no,
And,
yeah, I
like,
agree. Yeah, they're generalizing all of the issues to pretend like all of them applied specifically in this situation. Yeah. Well, we don't know that at all.
If I put some things together about like different incidents of like people being confronted like after doing an assault or after doing a shooting, and like use of force not being where somebody can like you could in theory go and like gun down a bunch of people and then be confronted like 5 minutes later with no gun lying on the ground, like ready to surrender, and somebody can't just shoot you because they think like, oh, there's a chance that he could get up and start shooting more people. Like they just can't do that, even in a circumstance that's that crazy of like somebody, you know, using a gun.
I mean, we know this because they arrested Tyler Robinson. They arrested oh god, they're such a great example. It's not, there are mass shooters who have been arrested before. They give up, they surrender to police, and then they're arrested. Right? This happens.
Well, it'd be like, like with like Luigi, them being like, well, he had a gun, and we know that it was him, and we like it'd be like if they just like mag dumped him in the middle of the road. You know what I mean? Like even if you know those circumstances and things, like it doesn't change. That's why like when people talk about the totality of circumstances, but they bring in like well, you have to understand what ICE has been going through and all this kind of like. That really doesn't matter. That would be like saying that a Chicago police officer, because they've dealt with gang violence before, can go into every single traffic stop with his gun drawn, ready to shoot somebody just because, you know, they've stopped a bunch of black cars before that have had guns in them. You know, like it's the same like logic. So I don't know, like I could send you a couple of cases of like different, not necessarily of like where judges rule that, you know, the circumstances made it to where somebody could or couldn't shoot. But like, there's like way more horrendous things that have happened where, like you said, like Tyler Robinson being just like brought in. But like, I'm talking about like more active situations of, you know, like I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff like that felony stop thing. I'm really glad that you like grasped onto that, because a felony stop is like literally somebody is known to be a danger, so they go guns drawn because that person is known to be a danger. But sorry, I'm jumbled in this because dude, it's been kind of a lot. But like, how much have you looked into like use of force continuums and stuff like that? And, like,
I mean, a little bit, but nobody accepts. Like, you can read off any of these things, they just don't accept them. But like, there's a whole thing on the there's like a DOJ thing I almost read from it yesterday, but I didn't even bother, about like when is it appropriate to use intermediate weapons. Like that's I kind of challenged him to provide a source for what he said, but he didn't. You're not going to find anything that is going to tell you in any police department you should just start pepper spraying somebody immediately at close range for no fucking reason. Like that's like after other things have been attempted and are not working, you know.
And like I think he tried to use the like, well, there was a group of people, and then here's this case of them using OC spray to disperse a group of people.
Yeah, he kept trying to go to these things. Yeah, none of it was, not even close.
You're talking about like an active like protest that's going into like people pushing up against officers, and you're trying to disperse it, and like like that's where when you're dealing with individuals, you can't just like pepper spray a guy to get him to run away like without detain. Like you were on that same thing, but everything he kept up bringing up was like
not related at all.
Situation, groups of people that are causing like actual disruption and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think that point keeps getting brought up by these people. Of like Rob Noor did it a lot too when he was talking to Wick and Pisco about like, well, they're blowing whistles, and you know, like how. If you just had a whistle being blown at you over and over and over again, it's a it's like that's that kind of stuff. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're a police officer that can't handle somebody yelling at you or blowing a whistle in your ear, or whatever it is, like that's just all the more reason that you're not cut out for the job.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
It's like what people said with Ashley Babbitt. They said that the guy who shot Ashley Babbitt shouldn't have done it because she posed no threat. So there's no reason why he should have ever shot. But they just, like, for some reason, like, I guarantee you that guy would not have defended the Ashley Babbitt shoot, or would have defended
that she shouldn't have been
shoot.
That she shouldn't have been shot.
Well, he said that. He's like, oh yeah, I think it was a good.
Yeah, but in another circumstance, yeah, he wouldn't have. He just had to own it on that particular point. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that's a point that needs to be attacked more and more of, like, well, if this is happening, it's not that we should, like, let law enforcement shouldn't be doing things when they're met with adversarial people or protesters or anything, but, like, you can't take that into consideration when you're looking at these use of force, like, instances where, like, well, they've been dealing with this for so long. Like, maybe if there was, like, a history of criminality with somebody and they're dealing with that same person over and over and over again, you can sometimes bring that stuff into court and things like that. But, like, the way that they're bringing it in, it's just like it would never stand up.
Sure.
Like, it's.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I feel like it's something that should be attacked more. But I was just wondering if you were curious about that.
All right, I'll keep it in mind.
All right.
Have
See you,
fun.
buddy.
I was going to read this yesterday, but I decided not to, just because it was whatever he would have said would have been fucking retarded. But this is from the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center's website for some of this. Intermediate weapons, batons, electronic control devices, and oleoresin capsicum OC spray are often called intermediate weapons because they offer an intermediate level of force between a firearm and going hands-on. But objective reasonableness depends on the facts. Baton blows to the head, neck, or groin area may cause serious injuries. The electrical charge from a dart mode ECD causes neuromuscular incapacitation and is very likely to cause serious injuries by someone standing in a tree, climbing over a fence, or saturated with flammable liquids. Absent a strong governmental interest, as when the suspect poses a significant threat, intermediate weapons are excessive when any reasonable officer would know that they are likely to cause serious injuries. The nature of the intrusion. What does an intermediate weapon do? A baton can be held at port arms to gently push a protester back to the sidewalk. It can also be used to strike his attacking limbs. A baton is capable of causing deep bruising, blood clots, capable of precipitating a stroke, and even death. OC spray comes from the oily extract of the cayenne, pepper plant. Exposure to OC creates a deep burning sensation and difficulty breathing. Electronic control devices come in two modes, dart and drive stun. In the dart mode, the ECD propels a pair of probes or aluminum darts tipped with stainless steel barbs towards the suspect. When the darts strike the suspect, the ECD delivers an electrical charge through the wires and probes into the suspect's muscles. The electrical impulse momentarily overrides the central nervous system. The suspect falls, momentarily incapacitated, which provides an opportunity for the officer to move in with handcuffs. In the drive stun mode, the officer pushes two electric contacts located on the front of the ECD directly against the suspect. The drive stun mode delivers an electronic shock. The drive stun does not override the central nervous system like the dart mode, but it is painful and may cause a struggling suspect to release his grip on something. The governmental interest at stake. When are intermediate weapons objectively reasonable? An intermediate threat is the most important Graham factor. Intermediate weapons fall within the range of reasonableness if, after applying the facts to the Graham factors, the suspect poses an intermediate threat. Poses an immediate threat. Wait, how many times did I just say intermediate when is immediate? Immediate threat. An immediate threat is the most important Graham factor. Okay, sorry. Immediate threat. The severity of crime at issue may help establish an immediate threat. Consider an armed robbery suspect who refuses an officer's order to lay on the ground. An intermediate weapon may be reasonable to make him. But change the facts and the answer may change. Remember when that guy brought up the whole thing, oh, so you think if it was a drunk guy stumbling around, you'd treat him differently? Of course you would. But change the facts and the answer may change. Assume the same person was only suspected of drunk driving. While a serious crime, drunk driving is not indicative of someone who is an immediate threat. The same urgency to get him on the ground may not exist. The crime is only one factor to consider in deciding whether a threat exists. Police officers have a right to protect themselves even while investigating minor crimes. Consider a case where a patrolman stopped a truck driver for a simple traffic violation. The driver became immediately confrontational. "Get that flashlight out of my eyes," he stated. 5 times the officer asked for license and registration. Instead, the driver ranted and raved by the highway. "Why don't you just take me to fucking jail? And I don't have to kiss your damn ass because you're a police officer." After the 5th request, the officer shot the man with an electronic control device in the dart mode. The ECD caused neuromuscular incapacitation. He fell and was taken to jail. The truck driver's failure to provide documentation was an arrestable offense, but was it reasonable to use the ECD and without warning? That was the issue before the court. The truck driver claimed that he would have obeyed the officer's arrest commands had the officer warned him. The officer, on the other hand, claimed that arrest commands would only escalate an already tense and difficult situation into a more serious struggle. This time, the facts supported the officer. But in another case, the facts viewed in a light most favorable to the plaintiff did not support an immediate threat. Here, a young man drove onto Coronado Island wearing nothing but boxer shorts and tennis shoes. An officer also saw that he was not wearing his seatbelt and directed him to pull to the side of the road. He did, but began to pound the steering wheel and to curse, apparently upset about the pending traffic ticket. Then the young man got out of the car. The slightly clad young man must have looked strange. Adding to his bizarre behavior, he began to yell gibberish, expletives, though not at the officer's face, like the truck driver, and to hit his thighs. The officer was about 20 to 25 feet away from the young man when, without warning, the officer shot him with an ECD in the dart mode. He fell due to neuromuscular incapacitation and shattered his teeth on the pavement. The reviewing court believed that the only similarities between this case and the truck drivers were that the two men were stopped for a traffic violation, they were loud, and they were shot by an ECD, while the in-your-face behavior of the truck driver could cause a reasonable officer to believe that there was a threat. The behavior of the young man on Coronado could not. Typo. He was further away and just having a temper tantrum. Each use of force must be objectively reasonable. Not all of them were in a domestic violence case. The officers had probable cause not all of them were in a domestic violence case. The officers had probable cause to arrest the suspect who was acting erratically, holding a baseball bat and advancing on the officers. The first 3 deployment of an ECD were not excessive because the facts supported a threat. However, 7 more were excessive. Similarly, OC spray is reasonable against a combative suspect who poses an immediate threat. But once the suspect is under control, he should be decontaminated as soon as reasonably possible. I just, the first pepper spraying of this guy was just completely fucking wild to me.
Today, my analysis of the shooting and killing of Alex Pretti by Border Patrol officers in Minnesota. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. As always, I am your host, John Correa. If you're
Wait, does this guy have more teeth than he should? Is this Attack on Titan? Am I crazy? Or are they just like all similarly sized for some reason?
If you're new here to Active Self-Protection, please hit the link in the description for my bio and why I am the guy bringing you this analysis. I am a court-admitted expert in use of force in self-defense and in firearms. It's literally an analysis of video evidence is what I do every single day of the year here at Active Self-Protection. So please, this is why I'm bringing it to you. Second thing here, before we get to the videos, I'm not going to dive into the politics here or some of the background issues, but my intent today is to look through the 3 major angles of video evidence that have been released into the wild of this to see what they say, what they actually show, and what they don't show, and talk about what the lessons learned are. And yes, we will talk about whether I believe, based on my training, background, education, and experience, this shooting is justified.
We didn't watch this whole thing today, but hold on.
While job gains have remained low, the unemployment rate has shown some signs of stabilization, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. Having lowered our policy rate by 75 basis points over the course of our previous 3 meetings, we see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward both our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. While job gain...
Uh-oh.
If your mind is already made up about that and you know everything there is to know about that, this video will probably not change your mind, and it almost certainly will frustrate you at times because we're going to take a good, nuanced look. So you might want to pass this one by. But if you're interested in seeing how we take things apart, how we look at the entire context, and then how individual frames in that match and work inside the context, let's get it going. Whether you choose the new home defense model with an impressive 20-foot range or the standard smaller
normally I wouldn't skip it.
to
I don't know if they're going to want me to stream this upcoming show or not, because I don't know if this goes to TV or what the fuck, how they do this, but they haven't responded to my email.
As someone with the hot sauce and break contact is an important tool in every self-defender's toolbox, so go hit the link in the description and pick some up. Thank them for sponsoring today's video. To set the tone here, Alex Pretti is at this protest because he said he wanted to observe and verify and make sure that the government was doing the things that it should be doing. It's totally his right to be at a protest. He is concealed carrying a SIG 320. I think it's the ARX model. So he's concealed carrying a firearm with 2 spare magazines. That's completely normal as well. We'll talk about that in the lessons. And then you're going to see him have to get involved. He is an ICU nurse who works for the Veterans Administration. Let's watch the first camera here and see how it goes.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck, people? What the fuck is wrong with you? Honestly.
I found this other one that somebody said they had stabilized, but it's also in such sharp contrast that I'm a little worried that it's been manipulated with AI, but it shows very similar stuff, just much more clear. As you can see, again, we already saw the agent there pull his gun, shot breaks, and then about a second later, another one, and then a whole bunch more shots break. Let's watch in for the next 2 angles here.
They're doing too much, man. They keep pushing people, you know? Oh shit! What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Did they fucking kill that guy? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Not again. Are you fucking kidding me? That guy's dead.
Wait. Did that sound just a little bit? The first part of that, like Lakari?
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Shit! What the fuck? They killed him? Did they fucking kill that guy? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Not again. Are you fucking kidding me? That guy's dead.
Okay, sorry.
Yo,
Not
people
fine.
outside.
What is wrong with you? Honestly.
You heard there were a whole bunch of rounds fired there. Alex did not survive this. Mr. Pretti died at the scene. There's been a further significant uproar. And again, there's a bunch of news stories as well as links to the originals linked in the description of this video if you want to check them out. So now you've seen each one kind of in their entirety. I want to walk back through and show them to you. Here's the thing. The reason that we do that is I want you to see the context. I want to see the totality of the circumstances and not just stop with individual stills that can be misleading. I also want to say here that the video evidence by itself is not a definitive issue. It's all about what did the person who used deadly force see in the moment and why did they act like they did. We don't get to see that on videos, okay? So what we're looking at on video is there objective reasonable evidence that would back a claim that it was a justified use of deadly force. And there's far more in a full investigation than the video evidence, friends. And also, there are videos and angles and the way that things work that this is just, every video is simply an eyewitness that we have to look at, that we have to cross-examine. But the beauty of a video is that it can be cross-examined again and again and again, and it will tell us the same things again and again and again. I think this one of these 3 tell us.
Surely there's no coincidence that a lot of these shootings happen in Minnesota. What is the explanation behind this? Well, my understanding is the recent surge to Minnesota was inspired by that Nick Shirley video. No? Am I making that up? Somebody tell me if I'm right or wrong on that.
Some important stuff, so let's get into it. First of all here, is it okay to be at a protest? Well, listen, I said in the Kyle Rittenhouse when I did the analysis of the shootings there in Kenosha that I thought it was imprudent to be there. And I stand by that advice. I think it's imprudent. But some people believe it is my moral obligation, that it's an important enough thing that I really need to be there, that I have to. So they feel very strongly about that. And it's certainly you're right. Just because something's imprudent to do doesn't mean it's illegal to do. And it wasn't illegal for him to be there. I've seen a bunch of other people say, well, he shouldn't have had a firearm at a protest. And I categorically reject that line of reasoning. It's entirely his right to exercise his Second Amendment right. He's not exercising it at anybody. He is not, even you could say, well, he was open carrying a rifle or something like that he's trying to incite things. No, he's concealed carrying a firearm, which is a very normal thing that normal people do. I do it every day. And okay, he's carrying.
By the way, if he was open carrying a rifle, he would still be alive, guaranteed.
A couple of spare magazines. I've heard sometimes he's 1 or 2 spare magazines. I've seen varying reports. I'm the guy that will say, well, carrying a spare magazine is just not something that we see private citizens use in defensive gunfights, but I'm in the minority on that, guys. It is far more common for like the big time big dog trainers to tell people to carry at least 1 spare magazine. And notice, I would say every Border Patrol agent that was here at this one had probably 3 or more spare magazines on him.
Also, by the way, when they say this guy had 2 magazines, I guarantee you he had his loaded firearm and then 1 extra. Because if it would have been 1 loaded and then 2 extra, they would have said 3 magazines. So he had his normal, ordinary firearm, and he had 1 extra magazine on him, guaranteed.
Carry at least 1 spare magazine. And notice, I would say every Border Patrol agent that was here at this one had probably 3 or more spare magazines on him. So I would never tell a police officer not to carry a significant number of spares. And so those issues, I think, are just ridiculous. It's like telling somebody you can assemble, so you can do your right to assembly, but you can't worship while you're assembling. And these are constitutionally protected rights. So I have no problem with that. And I think that it is really bad to say he shouldn't be carrying a firearm if there's any police officers around. That's crap. I'm around cops all the time. I carry a gun all the time. And the cops that I know are like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, just don't point it at me. And I do think that one of the things that the video is going to show is I don't see any evidence that Pretti tried to point a gun at officers, tried to grab a gun. They found a gun on him while they were beating the crap out of him is what the reality is that we actually see here. And so to tip my hand a little bit, I think a jury's going to really struggle with this one. Now, that said, I do think that I've said this many times and I said it in the mid-roll, the realities of the use of deadly force, there's far more than gets caught on camera. And I'm going to show you in several spots, like what did the agent see here and why did he act the way he did? We don't know. And we don't have that information given to us on the videos. All we have is what the videos show and what we can investigate there and what we can show and see it. So let's talk about what we saw there. Let's try to talk about it like adults, keep the politics out of it. And I'm just going to call balls and strikes and tell you what I see. So you can see him here filming, right? Okay, fine. Now, should he be in the middle of the road? No, I don't like that he's in the middle of the road, but
there is like a very narrow, this is why a totality of the circumstances is so important. There is like a very narrow world where the officer that made the shoot was maybe okay because all he heard was gun and he wasn't 100% sure what was going on. The guy that induced the whole fucking scenario though is just why, that's just insanity to me. And he should have had more control over the situation. He should have communicated better with other officers. He shouldn't have pepper sprayed the guy. This is what I don't like, and no one is really engaging with me in good faith on this, I don't feel like. From my perspective, at the moment he gets pepper sprayed, he is locked. He's going to be railroaded to death. You ever play D&D and you like step into a dungeon and there's nothing you can do, like there's magical blocks and everything, and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to die here. Like at the moment he gets pepper sprayed, the officer seems like he wants to arrest him or whatever. Like at this point, his shit is fucked. Like it's going to take him a bit just to get his senses. But like the fact that he's still carrying means now he dies 100%. I don't know what he does at this point. Like he's just getting attacked and beat up, and I don't even know why he's grabbing this woman here. He might just be trying to hold on to something. I don't even know if he knows what he's. But like, yeah, he's getting beat up. They see that he's got like the gun on him. Like, what is he? He's dead at this point, right? Like that one guy yesterday was like, oh, well, he should have just gone limp and spread out. And it's like, is that really going to be your intuition when you've just been fucking had a half a can of pepper spray unloaded down your fucking throat and you've got some dude beating your fucking head with a pepper spray can or whatever? Like, I don't know if anybody's intuition is going to be that. Like this guy over here hits him twice. Like you're fucked at that point. Like, I don't like that. You can't, for no good reason, you can't send people down like a death path. You know, if he was actually literally fighting with the officer, or if he'd like struck the officer, or was engaged in like active combat, or had made, even if he'd made his intentions known earlier, like you touch that woman again, I'll fucking kill you, you pig. I got a piece, I'm gonna fucking take you out or whatever. Like if he was like doing something like that, I'm a little bit more sympathetic. But like also watching from the car, the cop is just mad. The cop is just upset. You can just tell he's pissed off. He's beating up on the woman, right? Cops love women. Women are the best things to beat on. If you're a pussy-ass bitch and you're upset, women, kids, and dogs, and that's it. He just wants to push people around. He just wants to be a big dog. He pepper sprays the dude for no fucking reason. He tried to pepper spray the woman a second time, but he fucked his can up or whatever. Like,
and okay, he's carrying a couple of spare magazines. I've heard sometimes. And I do think that one of the things that the video is going to show is I don't see any evidence that Pretti tried to point a gun at officers, tried to grab a gun. They found a gun on him while they were beating the crap out of him is what the reality is that we actually see here. And so to tip my hand a little bit, I think a jury's going to really struggle with this one. Now, that said, I do think that I've said this many times and I said it in the mid-roll, the realities of the use of deadly force, there's far more than gets caught on camera. And I'm going to show you in several spots, like what did the agent see here and why did he act the way he did? We don't know. And we don't have that information given to us on the videos. All we have is what the videos show and what we can investigate there and what we can show and see it. So let's talk about what we saw there. Let's try to talk about it like adults, keep the politics out of it. And I'm just going to call balls and strikes and tell you what I see. So you can see him here filming, right? Okay, fine. Now, should he be in the middle of the road? No, I don't like that he's in the middle of the road, but okay, it's jaywalking at the worst. That's not really a big deal. Now, this agent here in the brown beanie just really kind of hucks this woman. He kind of really pushes her hard. Why did he do that? I don't know, but it certainly raised the temperature of things.
Thank you. I don't like, you can't just smack somebody because you're upset. I can't believe so many people, I feel like I've talked to 2 or 3 people that have defended this. There was no reason to shove the woman. Now, if you want to talk about like, again, it was telling that all the examples that guy's ChatGPT had generated for him were like crowd control things. If there's like 20 people, like the January 6th stuff, cops shoving people back here, that's a dire situation. You're getting stranded. It makes sense. This woman is barely even in the road at this point. It looks like she's kind of walking back to the snowbank, and then she turns to talk to him, and this officer's mad as fuck.
At the worst. That's
he's
not really
mad. He looks like he's short, so he's probably got some short guy energy here. He's pissed off. He's just like
a big deal.
Like, why? There was just no reason for this. You're not accomplishing anything. I don't even know if he's going to arrest her after. I think he just wants to, I think he's just pissed off.
Now, this agent here in the brown beanie just really kind of hucks this woman. He kind of really pushes her hard. Why did he do that? I don't know, but it certainly raised the temperature of things. Was it smart? I can't see, I don't have a definitive answer as to what she did that he thought she might have earned something like that, but it certainly and absolutely raised the temperature and was a very seeming high use of force for somebody who was just filming, is what it looks like to me. And listen, officers, agents, if you're involved in this stuff, you got to recognize it is a very much a time of great emotional difficulty for a lot of people. So you got to be the adult who keeps your head in these situations. And I feel like he kind of didn't here.
And it's not to be sexist, but it's a woman, and maybe an older woman. Like, bruh, how many videos have you seen online where like some guys are fighting or whatever, or even a girl's being a piece of shit? And maybe she deserves in a video game. Oh, I didn't do that. I'm sorry. Don't sneak on me. But then all of a sudden, a guy actually, you know, goes off and smacks the lady, and then all the other men are like, "Whoa! Oh, wait, hold on. We all know the example of this, right? How can she slap? How can she slap?"
Can't talk. Hey, idiot. Yeah, yeah. These guys have no life in them. I'm telling you guys something, you'll have absolutely no reaction.
Why is this on fucking Live Leak? Jesus Christ.
I guess I'm done over here. Thanks, guys.
Isha, I think तुम इन दोनों को अपना challenge क्यों नहीं दिखा देती?
There's not one word coming out of their mouth.
Actually, the thing is that we don't want to talk with you, actually.
Why don't you go and f*** off then?
You go.
Boom!
How can you slap? How can you slap?
Mad or what, bloody?
How can she slap?
But, like, I mean, damn, dude, what do you expect? Also, keep in mind as well, and I hate how turned on its head everything is, like, this is supposed to be the Republican archetype. You see a poor woman being attacked by a power-tripping man. Your Republican conservative manly alpha male instinct should be to intervene, right? This is like the fantasy situation that all the red pillars and all the conservatives generally imagine themselves in. A man is attacking a woman for no reason, and I'm going to peacefully intervene. You know, the guy didn't punch the cop. He had a lot of good shots on the cop here. If he wanted to beat the shit out of him or attack him, he could have. He didn't. He just stepped in front of him. He's like, bro.
I feel like he went a little, like, way hard here, and that raised the temperature of everything. Now, if we look, what did Alex Pretti do here? He responds by putting his hand on the cummerbund of the officer. You can see him here. He kind of like tries to separate him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now listen, that is definitionally assault on a law enforcement officer. He put his hands on a law enforcement officer, even though that officer was doing wrong. And I got to say this, if you're going to go to a protest and observe, you have to be an observer. If you're like, well, we want to make sure the government is doing the things that they're supposed to be doing and that they're not abusing people. I think that's an honorable thing, but you got to recognize that if you decide to get involved, if you decide not to be an observer, but to be a participant, you could run into problems like this, okay?
So I don't disagree with this. Did he look in the beginning at the image from right in front of the car? I don't know if the guy ever actually touched the cop. If he did, it was insanely slight. I don't know if he ever actually touched him. I'm not sure. But again, even if he touched him, like, the guy is not attacking him. He's not hitting him. He's not punching him. Like,
Hey, now, I understand why you would do it. Guy's an ICU nurse. And if you go talk to any nurse, right? Like, I was talking to a nurse practitioner just a little while ago, my good friend Sandy, and she's like, look, as an ICU nurse, man, breaking up people fighting is part of your training. It's part of the way that you do business. It's part of just the fabric of your being, because you're going to be dealing with combative people, maybe especially working for the VA, as I say that as a disabled veteran. And so I understand why he might do that. Of course, does the agent know that he's an ICU nurse? No, probably not. If he knew he was an ICU nurse working for the VA, would he maybe have given him a little bit more, leeway, a little bit more courtesy? Maybe. So I'm saying this does meet the definition of maybe of assault on a police officer, or
I don't know. From one angle, like from this angle, maybe it's a stretch, but maybe. But I feel like from the angle of the car, I don't think so.
Impeding an official investigation.
GunTuber and lawyer Collian Noor posted his video on it too. I can't watch a lot of his stuff. It's just very uncomfortable. I have like it's the opposite of ASMR, like fingernails on a chalkboard or whatever. When people's mouths are very like cummy, like you can tell that they've been like throating loads all day from especially older men like Trump, it's just the sound just bothers me. So I typically don't watch a lot of his videos on anything political related, even when it has to do with firearms, unfortunately. Sorry.
Investigation. And so I don't love him doing that. I think that it's not great. I certainly don't think, though, that it rises to the level of we should shoot this guy. Certainly it doesn't, and I'm not saying this is why they shot him. Instead, what the agent does here is the agent decides to get out the OC spray and hose him down. Now, if the agent said, wait a minute, I was in the lawful performance of my duties and this guy impeded my duties, and so I blessed him with the hot sauce. Well, I don't love it, but I understand why.
Wait, hold on. We might have a big disagreement here. Wait, fuck. Did this guy actually? Hold on.
I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had two.
Yes, we know he had a license, but even if we didn't know that in the moment, simply possessing a firearm does not automatically turn you into a criminal. Besides, they weren't restraining him because he had a gun. They didn't even know he had a gun until he was on the ground. You may not like the fact that he was protesting ICE. That still does not strip him of his Second Amendment rights any more than if someone who is pro-ICE went to protest against the protesters while carrying their gun. The Second Amendment is for everybody, not just people you agree with, not just people who vote like you, not just people who make you comfortable.
Okay, I rescind my mean comments for today. Generally, I don't like this guy, though, but I'll rescind my mean comments today for him.
If your belief in the Second Amendment disappears the second the person carrying the gun isn't on your team, then do you actually believe in the Second Amendment? Now, let's talk about what actually happened in the video. From what I saw, it looked like he was filming two women who were actively agitating the officer, blowing whistles, getting in his face, escalating the situation. From my perspective, it looked like documentation, not participation. I don't know if he told them to stop. I don't know if he tried to de-escalate verbally. All I can tell you is what it looked like to me from the footage. And yes, those whistles were annoying as hell. They annoyed me just watching the video. But annoyance is not illegality. Blowing whistles is actually protected speech under the First Amendment. At the same time, I also saw the agent pushing one of the women to the ground. Was that that legally justified? Was she under arrest? Was he enforcing something specific? I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know just to make people feel better. Now, the dynamic clearly changed when the guy stepped between the agent and the woman after she went down. Do I think he was trying to be malicious? It looked to me like he was just trying to protect someone who had just fallen. Did that decision introduce risk, especially while he was armed? Yes, absolutely. And here's where the two-way reality kicks in. You have a right to protest. You have a right to carry a firearm, even at a protest. Protest can turn violent. You still have to get back to your car. You still have to go home. All that shit. You're not any more safer at a protest. If I were protesting something, chances are I'd be carrying too, because I can legally do that. But I'm not going to engage federal agents while they're working. And I'm definitely not stepping between a federal agent while he's actively pushing someone else. That agent doesn't know me or my intentions. So I'm not risking it. When I carry a gun, I have two personalities, Pussy and John Wick. I'm the most passive person in the world when I'm carrying a gun. But if someone is trying to kill me or someone I love, you get to meet John Wick. When you carry a gun, you are held to a higher standard. Not morally, practically. The same way federal agents are held to a higher standard because they are armed and empowered by the government. That's not favoritism. That is responsibility. Now let's get back to the incident itself. This shooting looks fucking bad and dripping in negligence.
Now we'll slow things down so each moment is clear. Here is Pretti. Several agents are restraining him, and this is the Border Patrol agent who will shoot him first. This appears to be when agents first notice that Pretti is carrying a firearm and yell that he has a gun. Watching the same moment from a different angle, the agent who first pepper sprayed Pretti beats him several times with a spray canister. We can see that both of Pretti's arms are pinned down by his head. This agent in gray reaches to remove Pretti's weapon from his hip, as this agent unholsters his gun, nudges the agent in gray out of the way, and fires. Let's rewind and focus on the agent who shoots first. Just seconds before he fired, he was facing away from Pretti and focusing on an entirely different situation as he tries to spray a nearby woman with an irritant. The spray appears to malfunction.
This guy's fucking retarded, bro.
The agent turns as he adjusts it. That's when someone yells that Pretti has a gun. In around 5 seconds after fully turning his attention toward Pretti, the agent draws his weapon and shoots. His arm visibly recoils at the first shot. The firearm has clearly been removed from the scrum when the first shots are fired toward Pretti at close range. The officer who disarmed Pretti can be seen reacting to the sound of the first shot, looking back toward the skirmish. The shooter was standing behind Pretti and not under direct threat, contradicting statements from Homeland Security officials that he fired defensive shots. He also has a vantage point to see the gun pulled from the scene, but it's unclear if he did and whether he thought a weapon was still on Pretti. He then fires 3 more shots from behind Pretti, whose arms are down as he appears to brace himself against the pavement. In one hand, he still holds his phone, and in his other, his glasses. The agent in gray who removed Pretti's gun carries it across the street. Pretti is disarmed and falling to the ground. But the agent who first pepper sprayed Pretti and later beat him with a canister also pulls out his gun. From a distance, despite the fact that Pretti is lying motionless on
He's not the one that fires the second round of shots, is he?
the ground, these 2 agents fire 6 more shots.
He's got to go. That dude, he's...
Oh, sweet Jesus, let me kill this nigga.
This guy's got to go. He's got to go. I don't know what this guy's story is, but if CCOT was made for anything, this guy's got to go.
Neither is under threat. In total, the agents fire 10 shots in 5 seconds.
The real questions are, who caused it? And why did the shooting continue afterwards? There are 2 plausible scenarios. 1, an officer draws under stress, finger on the trigger, cold conditions, movement during a struggle, and negligently discharged the gun.
Also, holy shit, I know the military must be good with this, right? Because you guys are in the military. I know gamers understand this. If you're good at a video game, for team games, the first thing you notice, go watch professional Overwatch, professional Valorant, professional CSGO, is always comms. You always know immediately when you're a good queue versus a shit queue, right? Where when you're playing with a good team, you can close your eyes and it's like the Matrix. You can see everything happening on the map because everybody's callouts are quick, they're concise, they're precise. You're just getting so much information so quickly from everybody that everybody's playing well as a team. Cops, I feel like cops have no comms at all. It feels like Silver Q, right? Where you ever play, or if you watch me and Mooten play sometimes, we're like, he's over there! And it's like, let me use my telepathic powers to know what the fuck you're talking about. He's right, he's shooting me, he's right there! It's like, where? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's got a gun, who? Where? How? What are you talking about? I don't know. And then people just start shooting. Cop comms are terrible. I don't know if they don't have any training on it or any discipline, or if they don't do any team training or whatever, but I feel like comms are non-existent for police officers. It's unbelievable to me.
2, the officer disarms him, moves away with the firearm, and then negligently discharges it while trying to secure it. Those 2 scenarios lead to very different conclusions. If the first shot came from the officer moving away with the gun, it's still negligence. But maybe they can argue how other agents might believe that lethal force was being used against them, and they just...
To be fair to cops, you only ever see them in situations where they had bad comms. I understand I can't extrapolate from mine, but even when I was swatted, like I had 2 people shouting different things at me between turn around and then it was keep your hands up, and then it was put your hands on the back of your head. And I heard all 3 of these basically said at the same time between 2 different officers, one of who changed like what he was saying. And it was like, fuck, don't let me, not like this. This is the most retarded fucking way. I swear to God, if I get killed outside my fucking apartment, okay? Jesus. But like, even at that, it's like, bro, come on. And keep in mind also, it's a high stress situation, okay? Especially if you've been to a range, like, having somebody point a gun at you is very fucking weird. That's not a good feeling, okay? You're not supposed to do that. You're breaking like 3 of the fucking rules of firearm ownership right here. It's just, cop comms are just terrible. I don't know. I don't know why or what, or if there's just no training or no thought given to it. I don't know if I've ever seen... No, I'm sure I have. That's not fair. I'm sure I've seen good cop comms sometimes, maybe. I've seen good cop behavior. It feels like cops very much operate individualistically. And you know what? Actually, maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's like in the military, you really are like, you deploy as units. You're not like, you're not Jason Bourne. You don't go out as like single agent assassins. Like you're always working in teams. Whereas cops largely operate solo or with a partner. And that's it, maybe. So the backup situations and the teamwork are like incredibly rare. Maybe. I don't know.
Just reacted. Still negligent, but if the first shot came from the officer with his finger on the trigger and he knew it was a negligent discharge and then continued firing, at that point, we're no longer just talking about negligence. We're talking about something fundamentally different. And this is where the law matters, not vibes, not politics. Under Graham v. Connor and Tennessee v. Garner, deadly force is judged under the 4th Amendment's objective reasonableness standard. Officer by officer, second by second. A gun existing is not the same thing as a gun being a threat. A holstered firearm, once removed and controlled, changes the legal math immediately. Another officer yelling gun or even an accidental discharge does not automatically authorize everyone in the scene to open fire. That's not my opinion. That's just law. Until we know, one, who fired the first shot, whether it was negligent, and what each officer...
I don't think it was an ND. I think now nobody believes that. It was the cop that fired the first shot. But also, I didn't know that it was the same cop that pepper sprayed him that took his gun out and fired from... What a fucking piece of shit. Holy fuck. What an actual fucking piece of shit. And we don't even know the guy's fucking name? What do I need to get government protection of my identity if I fucking murder somebody? What the fuck? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Why he would do that, and OC spray, I love. I think it's a good OC spray, and hose him down. Now, if the agent said, wait a minute, I was in the lawful performance of my duties, and this guy impeded my duties, and so I blessed him with the hot sauce. Well, I don't love it, but I understand why he would do that, and OC spray, I love. I think it's a good choice in a lot of these situations. I do think that this agent shows that he doesn't understand how to use OC spray very well, because he sprays him and sprays him and sprays him and sprays him again. That's bad tactics, right? You actually want to use the OC spray and then let it cook, because the aerosolization gets more of the oleoresin resin capsicum into the mucous membranes and has its effect. And I think that as we actually watch this go down, I think that what we're going to see here is that it was having an effect, but that the agent kept kind of putting it over the top.
Yeah, there's like a world where I don't like it at all, just because I don't think the guy had shown himself to be violent at all. So I feel like you're escalating so much for no reason. But like, there's a world where like he sprays him and then backs up, and I just think, okay, this is kind of a dick cop, like an asshole cop. But like to spray him and then to engage like in Mortal Kombat, I'm like, really?
And putting new spray down over the top of the old spray, and so it didn't work as well as he wanted it to, because he was spraying it again and again and again. Now they're going to grab a hold of him here and drag him off of this lady and then start kind of beating him up pretty good. Now we switched over here to the one that I'm a little worried is AI generated, not generated, but maybe kind of, it's enhanced so far that I'm just going to say this is tentative, okay? But what you can see right here, you can see where the arrow is the fact that that Pretti has his elbows down on the ground. He is using his forearms to stabilize himself, and he's basically turtled up. We're going to see other angles of it that he's basically got his head buried in his arms because the OC spray is kicking his butt. And so
I will say, fuck, wait, was this Dan's app idea? There needs to be a video platform that becomes more standard use for situations like this. So YouTube will always transcode video that you send to their servers. Even if you're watching in max quality from my stream, you're not actually getting the encode that I'm sending from my computer. The encode is always being rerun through YouTube's encoding services or service first. So in 99% of cases, it doesn't matter. But in cases like this, where you might be resolution limited or you're distance limited, where like every pixel starts to matter, it would be nice to have the original video for this, not the YouTube transcoded video where it just like the pixels matter here. Like they really do.
So will he be resisting? A little bit, yes, but that doesn't justify shooting him. Now, what could is if, again, he makes a imminent threat of death or great bodily injury to one of the agents, but I don't see that here. I just don't see that going down in anything that I see, because now watch what happens here. As the agent in the gray is trying, he's going to end up trying to kind of pick his foot up to get his hips on the ground. And I want to notice here that our agent in gray is trying to get his feet up, and our agent in the black beanie and the green shirt, he is our shooter. He is the guy who's going to end up shooting Alex Pretti. He's not paying attention to him right now. So he's not seeing what's going on. He's instead looking at the two women and trying to discern what they're doing. He's going to turn his attention back. Now, again, that doesn't justify...
Yeah, I heard that apparently the women who actually made these recordings, I think I saw that yesterday, hadn't even been contacted by federal law enforcement yet. That's very concerning if that's the case.
Things one way or the other. But what it says is that human attention is very finite, and he was paying attention to this thing a minute ago, now over here to this thing in another minute. I also want to note that you can still see that Pretti's hands are on the ground, that he is bracing himself off his elbows and his forearms, and the agent in gray is...
FBI, have you been contacted by anyone from the federal government? FBI?
No, I have
Border
not.
Patrol, Homeland Security?
I do have a legal team now who are fielding
much of that, and I am no longer accessible in those ways.
I talked to your attorney this morning. She said she had not received any outreach from the FBI or anybody from the federal government.
I do not think they have my name yet. Obviously, they will.
You've given testimony to state investigators.
Yes, yes.
So I said, OC spray is literally the worst thing to use as a cop. Every time I use it and went hands-on, it became a life or death struggle because the pain releases all of your adrenaline. Also, ICE is using bear spray because they think it burns more, but capsaicinoids, I can't pronounce this word, levels don't determine how much it burns, but how long it burns. Okay. You wear gloves. Got them.
Do you have confidence in a federal investigation?
No. No, I do not. I have faith in various representatives throughout our country who are trying to do the right thing and make sure that justice is served. I have faith in our local government in Minnesota. I think they are wanting to make sure to protect us and investigate it thoroughly, but they are trying to block that from happening. They wouldn't even let the investigative team come to the crime scene.
Capsaicin.
Their goal is to protect themselves and to spin stories.
It's incredible to me, though, that 4 days after this shooting, you have not been contacted by anybody from the FBI or the federal government. What does that tell you?
Like, I feel like retrieving that evidence immediately is the most important thing you could do. That's just a no-brainer, right? You want to get the evidence as quickly as possible, make sure it's not tainted, make sure it's not deleted, make sure, like, I don't know why that would almost be like a day zero. Like, as soon as it happens, you're requesting all of this. That's crazy to me.
That they're protecting themselves and they don't care about the truth of what happened.
Fuck. Am I going to be able to finish this video in time?
He's trying to leverage his feet up to get his hips on the ground. And that's a tactic that they use, and I think it's an okay tactic. And you notice there's, 3 guys, 4 guys trying to hold him down. If they feel like he needs to be in custody, I don't have any problems with this to this point. I mean, I don't love it, but again, I don't think there's this huge egregious problems. But where there starts being problems here, and I don't think it's a big problem yet, is you see that they uncovered his firearm. So he's concealed carrying a firearm, and in concealed carrying that firearm, he hasn't tried to go for it. You can see that his arms are still on the ground, actually, in this one. You can see there with that second arrow that his forearms are still on the ground, but that the agent in gray has identified that his shirt has ridden up, and he's carrying a firearm, about 4 o'clock, so behind the hip, not smaller back, but a little bit, kind of behind the hip. And the agent has said, has realized there in gray, there's a gun involved here. Now, I don't hear him say gun or anything like that, but we are going to see him, now we already actually see him grabbing a hold of that gun. I don't have a problem with this. If you're going to arrest somebody, you identify that they have a firearm on their person. Securing that firearm is a good thing to do, right? This is how we should be doing things. And you notice here that our agent who shot, who is, again, black beanie in the middle with a green shirt on, he has something in his right hand right now.
Would it be reasonable to assume that the video has been uploaded in full so the federal agents wouldn't care to reach out? No. You want the original video off the phone. It's just a better chain of custody. It's going to be a higher resolution, higher quality, which again is going to matter here.
He's going to transfer that over to his left hand and draw his pistol in just a second when we move it forward. And the question is why? I don't see why he drew his firearm here. I can't tell you why he drew his firearm here. None of the
Didn't somebody scream gun, gun? Isn't that why?
angles show why he chose to draw his firearm here, but he did. The only person who can tell us that is the agent. And so that's going to depend on the investigation when he says, why did you draw your gun? And again, at this point, what we see actually is that the agent in gray is the one who is in control of his firearm. So could this be a huge case of a mistake that the agent who drew his gun saw the gun coming out of the holster and wrongly assumed that it was Pretti that drew it? I suppose that's within the realm of possibility, but is that a reasonable, is that a reasonable inference from the evidence? I don't know that it is. I struggle with that, and I think a jury is going to struggle with it. Now, as we move it forward just a little bit, I want to show you the frame that comes a half second before his first trigger press. Because right here is a half second before the trigger press, and this is an important frame. Because what we know is that in complex environments where people have to make decisions, they make a decision to fire 0.56 seconds plus or minus 0.08 from when the shot breaks, right? That's from Lewinsky et al. And their studies on time to start and stop shooting. 0.56 plus or minus 0.08 in a complex but not complicated environment. So with that in mind, this is the frame right here, the half second before the first shot breaks. That this comes right before, this is the vision that the agent gets that makes him make the decision to shoot. I don't see anything in here. Again, I still see Pretti face down on the ground. I don't see him reaching back towards his waistband. I don't see him with a gun in his hand, but he does have his cell phone in his hand. So does the agent mistake that for a gun? I can't tell you that. I don't like it though. He's never had a gun in his hand. He's never reached for the gun on his waist. And I just don't see any justification at that point for shooting him that is objective, that he always had the phone in his hand. So what did the agent see? I don't know. Now this next still frame is the agent has shot him, and now you see the second shot that breaks that comes just a little while later, about 0.7 seconds later. And you see here that the agent has made a second decision to shoot. And now we see Pretti on his knees with his back turned to the agent and get shot just cleanly and square in the back. Now, it's not about where you shoot somebody. It's about why. Why did he do that? I can't answer that for you. Only the agent can answer that for you. What made him make that second decision to shoot? I don't know. But I can say that as somebody who looks at these things all the time, this looks terrible in front of a jury. You've got an unarmed man who is being shot in the back while he's on his knees and surrounded by government agents while he is simply just trying to be a protester and be a regular human being. So is this okay? I don't like it, friends. I don't like anything about this. I think that it is not the kind of policing that we want. And I think a jury's going to really struggle with this, and rightly so, in my opinion. So this is going to be one that if I'm a prosecutor and I want to prosecute this, I'm showing this still again and again and again to the jury. Because what you see here, yeah, he does have his cell phone in his hand. You can see it in his right hand right there. He has his cell phone. He's had his cell phone in his hand the whole time. He's just held onto it because he's gripping it because he's hurting so bad. Is anything that he has done something that I would say is worthy of shooting somebody. I struggle to see it. I struggle to see justification to shoot Alex Pretti here. And I don't see anything that would look to me like an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. This is the second one that I'm going to show and show significantly to the jury if I want to prosecute this, that it looks like, again, a firing line. Now, it looks to me like our original shooter is the only officer who fires, which, if that's the case, that's good for all the other officers. They're making their own independent decisions to shoot. But again, I don't see any...
Is there any argument that the guy who assaulted Ilhan Omar could have been justifiably shot and killed if using the same standard as the ICE shootings? I mean, I think so. I think most people would agree with that, though. I think charging a politician with anything in your hand is going to be, especially the federal politicians, pretty spooky. I don't know if there's been similar circumstances to that or not, but that's like, whew, you're playing with fire there.
Any reason here that shots are continuing, and a whole bunch of them went off. And so even if I start saying the first one okay, the second one okay, I start struggling to see them as they continue to go on, given the totality of the circumstances. I don't like this, but again, there's a lot more at stake than just the video evidence, and I want to say that very clearly. The video evidence, I don't like this from a justification standpoint. There's a whole lot of investigation that's not involved in the video evidence. Video is just one part of the evidence, and you got to take that into account. You can see here him turtle up, and now watch our guy in the gray jacket is going to come over, and you're going to see him grab a hold of the gun in the holster. And I'm going to say before that, if you notice, our original pepper spray officer is beating him in the face with his cannabis sea spray. I hate this. I hate it from a lot of perspectives. Number one, you got a lot of dudes around there going for it. Use the guys that you got. Number two, you beat somebody with can of OC like that, you can turn a can of OC spray into an OC grenade in a hurry and end up OC spraying everybody, including yourself and all the agents around. Don't do that, right? Don't use a can of OC spray as a bludgeoning tool. That is really stupid. It is a very bad idea. Also, I think that you could cause great bodily harm with that. That could be considered aggressive, excessive force all by itself right there. Now here we see our guy in the gray who got the gun away. You can see the gun in his hand there. And I've seen a couple of reports that said that maybe that it was this guy who had a negligent discharge with this gun. And I've seen that repeated a couple times, but I don't see evidence for that. I don't see the gun cycle, and I don't see it report recoil. I don't see the muzzle flip that I would expect to see over a couple of frames. So I don't see the evidence for that, and I don't see I don't have that corroborated by official reports, okay? So I don't think he did. I think it's a good thing to get the gun out of there, and I think he did a good job of that. Let me get that gun out of there and secure it. That actually isn't bad. Now, I want to stop here, third angle, and recognize again that Mr. Pretti here got involved and put his hand, and you can see him right there, put his hand on the cummerbund of the Border Patrol agent. And that is, it's a bad idea. I don't think it should be a death sentence. I don't think that should have escalated to this place that it did. But you got to recognize if you're going, you're like, look, we're going to make sure that the Border Patrol does the things that it's supposed to do and that they're not violating people's rights. You got to go as an observer, friends. You got to just go and say, I'm going to record, but I'm not going to get involved, because to get involved means that I could very easily die. Now, for some people, hey man, it's worth dying for. Well, I get that. I would far prefer that Mr. Pretti here have kept recording, and then, hey, I want to take this to court. I think that this person did wrong, and I want to see him charged with assault for just pushing this woman on the ground with no justification to do so. That would have been the right choice here. I'm not blaming him though for that, and I still don't think I don't think he should have had the hell beat out of him, and I certainly don't think he should have been shot for it. I don't think he was shot for that, and I want to make sure that we say that again. The OC spray, man, I don't love it. Because I think it's probably all a big misunderstanding here. And agents, listen, if you're in this, you need to go, hey, wait a minute. It's up to us as the agents of the government to chill out here, to be the adults in the room, to act with integrity. And we actually see some of that here. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But I also want to recognize, you can see right here that Pretti has his face buried in the crook of his elbow, and he's got his hands on the ground. I want you to see that very clearly here. And that's what we see from the whole thing, is that they're trying to get him down, and he's just turtled up because he's in so much pain from the OC spray. That's what OC spray does. So the OC was effective. And I think if they'd just let the OC cook, they didn't have any problems with this guy. He never went for the gun. He never actually tried to hurt anybody. And so I just think that this is a vast overreaction. I also want to note right here, this is a little interesting thing. Notice the officer that's in the foreground here. There's another woman who's filming. Do you notice he didn't get all kinds of belligerent? Do you notice he's just like, man, back off, please. Please walk over there. Let's not get involved. She does that, and he's super professional. I just wanted to note, again, all these other guys who just go to work on Alex Pretti, that they had an example right in their midst of somebody who's not using excessive force, somebody who's not beating the crap out of each other or out of private citizens, somebody who is not doing things wrong. More of that, please. Follow that guy's example of de-escalating, of letting people exercise their rights while making sure everybody's safe would have been the right thing. Final thing here again, you can see that they did disarm him. So Mr. Pretti was carrying a firearm. That is not wrong. It's okay for him to carry a firearm. And it really frustrates me that people have said, well, he shouldn't have been carrying a gun in a protest. That is bullcrap, in my opinion. He's exercising a constitutionally protected right, and it's his right to do so. It's his right to be at a protest and to document what's going on there if he feels like it's wrong. I think at the end of the day here, when I look at this, I don't see anything on video that I could tell was objective, reasonable evidence that justifies the use of deadly force. I want to be cautious with that, though, because the video evidence is only one part of things, and it's not the determinative part of things. There's far more in an investigation that will go down that says, was this actually a justified use of deadly force? There's interviews with all of the witnesses, with all of the agents involved, with particularly the agent who shot and why, and accounting for each shot and why he shot when he did will be the key to this investigation. I will say that what I see on video, I don't like. And depending upon how the rest of the investigation goes, this is one that as opposed to the shooting of Renee Good, that I said, I think that the video evidence shows objective, reasonable evidence why a trained ICE agent in that case would use deadly force to stop themselves. I don't see that here. I do not have evidence on video that showcases that. I want to be cautious with that once again and final to say that the video evidence is not everything, and so I'm not making a final determination there. This is an analysis of the videos only. Is that going to frustrate people? I get it. It's going to frustrate everybody because half the people are going to say, but John, we got to stand up to protesters doing bad things, and the other half is going to say these are jackbooted thugs that are killing people for no reason. The reality is there's some nuance here that we have to take into account. I don't see justification for the use of deadly force here, but I will still allow the process to play its way out. I understand that people are frustrated with their government, and I think protest of government is an ensconced right for a reason, and I honor that right. And I think that it's worth it as a society to discuss, is this how we want our government to operate? Is this the way that we want our federal law enforcement officers patrolling the streets? And that's worth discussing and considering and being strong about and having strong opinions about. But let's do so, friends, as best we can in a spirit that says, listen, we're the adults in the room, and rather than letting our guts, drive us here, rather than letting our intuition drive us, let's be people who are good, sane, sober, moral, prudent people who take a reasoned path and look at all of the evidence and let that be our guide. My thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of Alex Pretti. I think that this is a terrible tragedy that should not have happened. I don't see justification for it in the video evidence. So let's do better, friends. And at the end of things, do I think charges will be filed? I mean, that depends on the investigation. State charges won't because of the supremacy clause for sure. Will federal charges be filed? I'd be super surprised given the political climate, quite frankly. Will civil charges, will civil suits be filed? Unquestionably and unequivocally. We'll just have to see how those go. Everybody, let's be kind to one another, shall we? And let's do better, and let's pull our society back from the brink of civil war.
I feel like it's a fair video. I don't know what this guy's political stances are normally, but... Okay. Well, I love you guys. I'll be back in like an hour and a half. I'm going to go do this show. I'm guessing they probably don't want me to live stream it, so... And then maybe we'll watch Andrew Wilson on the Joe Rogan Experience. Jesus Christ. What a world we're in.
In the wake of the union...
Be careful.